I heard him say, forgive in the garden, when you felt like off the planet, now we beg the Father to let him pass the cup. I can feel the anguish when they pierced him in the side. Down beneath the shore, on the very moment that he died. We found an empty grave, and the stones rolled away where he had been. Tears of joy streamed down my face. The angels said, oh, fear not. Yes, oh, fear not. Yes,
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Okay, so Charlie was not able to send me his outline, so I had to come up with my own. So we're not going to review what he reviewed last week, the Holy Week. We're going to get right to today. We're going to talk about the Passover. One of the things that I want you to learn at a very young age. We serve a very strategic God. There is nothing haphazardly done by the Lord. Everything that He does strategically. Everything He does has a purpose. There will be things that will happen that you will not understand. And you may not even understand it until you get to heaven and it's explained to you. But everything going on has a purpose. The Bible, if you just take it at a surface glance, you can find a lot of contradictions. But it's because you need to search and study. God is not going to just hand everything to you on a plate if you don't have a heart and a mind to research it. What does the Bible say? Study to what? To show thyself approved. He lets you know that you're loved. He lets you know that you are cherished. He lets you know that, hey, I have a plan for you. But what He wants you to do is He wants you to also take the time to really search Him out. That's what relationships are, spending time with each other. And so what we're going to do today, and John Arthur, you're going to help me, because we're talking Passover, and nobody knows Passover better than John Arthur in this room.
That's the correct answer.
Jesus knows the Passover. But John Arthur, we actually, a few years ago, and I really regret the fact that we haven't been able to do it again, we went to a Seder, and we went through the process of the symbolism of Passover. It's really, really good. It took us, what, 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, so traditionally it's a 3-hour meal with a 1 hour kind of sandwiched in there of actual meal time. Some people will go as far as 6 hours. I think that's too long.
I think that would have been too long.
It's ridiculous. But 3 hours is pretty good.
It was really very enjoyable, and I must say I would love to do it again. It just always seems never to work out, but I'd love to do it again. So this is on a Thursday, is the beginning of, the Passover takes a while, but these are the days that we're focused on. What would you say is the number of days for the full Passover in Old Testament time?
So the entire time is in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Mm-hmm. You can find exactly how long that is in Exodus when the Lord lays it out. I believe it's 8 or is it 10 days. I'm just having morning here. Anyway.
We're going to get to that. We'll get to it.
So the whole feast is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where you start off, before the feast, you remove all the leaven from the house. So it's like removing sin. It's a game for the children. You got to go to all the cabinets and cupboards and find if there's any leaven. I mean, I'm sure they didn't have it in piles and stacks of containers, but they went and looked for the yeast. They got rid of the yeast, got it out of the home. And then they would prepare the Passover lamb. And there was a Passover lamb that was being prepared for the nation of Israel. There was a Passover lamb and there was a scapegoat. Right? And scapegoat was sent out. There were 2 things being done. The scapegoat was sent out into the desert after having a prayer said over it. And ceremonially, the sins of Israel was put on that lamb. Then there was the Passover lamb, which is another very, very visual death, where that Passover lamb's blood would be sprinkled on the Ark of the Covenant in the holiest of holies by the high priest. And on Palm Sunday, that was the lamb that was brought in that Jesus, in all likelihood, preempted, which is kind of cool. And I got the chills thinking about it. Jesus walked that exact path. Strategically, I mean,
God is strategic about everything that He does. If you lack understanding and don't understand something in the Bible, please understand, it is you, not the word of truth. It is the interpretation. It is lack of knowledge, because everything we found out that this is a translation. Please understand that. This is a translation. If you've ever been in Mr. Steve's class, he will tell you, if you go back to Hebrew words, and I believe it's Hebrew because the New Testament is Greek and the Old Testament is Hebrew. Hebrew words also have letters attached to them, so they actually add up to certain sums, okay? We're not going to get into what's called the power of 9, but numbers make a difference, okay? It's very strategic. I'm just going to keep saying that.
Names and words equal.
Right. And so when you look at the Old Hebrew, Mr. C will tell you this is plural, this is singular. It has a different meaning. So in the translation, even though it's a blessed translation, they're doing their best they can, but there's a lot about culture and about the breakdown of the Hebrew language that can't come over into the new translation. That's why when you read this Bible, Mr. Palmer is always telling you to do what?
Forget the Strong's.
Go back. Right. That's when we say study to show thyself approved. Don't just rely on this translation. You're going to miss a lot of things. Because, has anybody heard a message on Job? Okay, so his friends come and they sit with Job for 7 days and they do not speak. I've heard that preached. Well, look at how careless they are. They're not being very friendly to Job. They didn't say a word to him for 7 days. But the culture of the time was, when somebody was grieving, you never spoke until they spoke. You see how you can lose that in the translation? Because they're not bringing up the culture with it. So it's very important to understand that we need to go back and search that out. What we're going to do today is we're going to Exodus. You can turn to Exodus 12, and we're going to read, and we're going to go 2 verses each like we do. And the children of Israel at this time are in Egypt. That represents bondage. And God is going to deliver them.
Our hero.
Yes. Josh is the hero.
Thank you, Josh. His name is Deliverer for a reason. We love you.
Grab it off.
His name is Deliverer.
I'm going to wait for y'all. Go get some food. Go get some food. It'd be easier for y'all to get something, then we'll start reading.
The moment that you're like, oh, that's what
All right, Josh, you've been in your place for 2 days.
I know. It's too many 2 days. Wait, what? Too many 2 days?
Is this good or not good? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, you said I was in my favorite. I thought you were talking about the fact that I sat there last week.
Oh, no. Your place, your apartment. So you get up and move, you poor thing. All right. So the children of Israel are in bondage. And we are coming to the last plague. This is the deliverance, okay? So we're going to start reading in Exodus, and we're going to start reading in verse 3 to 14. And Josh, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with 2 verses.
Why? You said Exodus?
Exodus 12, verses 3 through 14. Read 2 verses, and then we'll move on to Justin.
So,
You're okay. Don't worry. We're fine. We're not going anywhere. You just walked in and brought food and made everybody happy. They're happy to wait on you, Josh.
we overrun. Don't forget to get the soundboard here. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. I think
Okay. Verse 3. 12, chapter 12, verse 3 and 4.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of the month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an ounce. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb.
Okay. 5 and 6.
You must have an unblemished animal, a year-old male. You may take it from either the sheep or the goats. You are to keep it until the 14th day of this month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel will slaughter the animal by fire.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door post of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Do not eat it raw nor boiled at all with water, but roast it in fire, its head with its limbs and its entrails. You shall let none of it remain until morning, and what remains of it until morning you shall burn with fire.
And thus shall ye eat with it your loins girded, with your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, and I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
The blood of your doorpost will serve as a sign, marking the house where you stay. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. It's blood of death, and I'll touch you with a straight line. It's the day to remember, each year, generations to generations. You must celebrate it with a special festival to the Lord.
So this is a what? A day to remember. Now, let's talk about this should be read.